Good morning. We begin with a dual focus today: the shifting landscape of the U.S. economy and critical developments in foreign policy. Consumer confidence in the United States showed a modest improvement in June. This comes from the latest University of Michigan survey, offering a fresh perspective on household sentiment. Meanwhile, U.S. foreign policy remains firmly in the spotlight. The Pentagon has confirmed significant military action overseas. These two stories frame our morning brief, providing essential updates on domestic well-being and international security. We dive into the details now. Consumer confidence in the United States showed a modest improvement in June. This key indicator provides insight into how Americans view the economy. The latest University of Michigan survey delivers these findings. The survey reflects a slight uplift in sentiment among U.S. households, a welcome change for economic watchers. While not a dramatic surge, any improvement signals a potential shift in consumer behavior. We analyze what this modest rise means for the broader economic outlook. The data suggests a tentative move towards optimism, even amidst lingering challenges. The University of Michigan survey highlights specific aspects of this confidence shift. Sentiment increased compared to May, indicating a month-over-month positive trend. This suggests that households are becoming slightly more optimistic about the economy's direction. While the exact numerical increase is not detailed in the provided facts, the upward trajectory is confirmed. This uptick is significant for market analysts and policymakers. It signals a potential easing of economic anxieties that have gripped consumers for some time. The survey's methodology captures a broad range of consumer attitudes. Despite the modest improvement in sentiment, Americans remain concerned about the rising cost of living and inflation. This underlying anxiety continues to shape household financial decisions. The University of Michigan survey acknowledges these persistent worries. Inflationary pressures have impacted budgets across the country, making daily expenses a significant concern. The slight optimism is therefore nuanced, coexisting with real financial pressures. Consumers are still grappling with higher prices for essentials like groceries, gas, and housing. This ongoing struggle prevents a full return to pre-inflation confidence levels. Households are navigating a complex economic environment. On one hand, there's a glimmer of optimism, reflecting some positive developments. On the other, the burden of inflation remains heavy. This creates a balancing act for consumers and economists alike. The increase in sentiment suggests an adaptation or perhaps a belief that the worst of inflation may be behind us. However, daily expenses continue to challenge financial stability. The University of Michigan data underscores this dual reality, a tentative step forward, but with significant hurdles still in place. This delicate balance will define economic trends in the coming months. The slightly more optimistic outlook from households is a key detail. It indicates a subtle but important shift in consumer psychology. This isn't a declaration of robust economic health, but rather a hopeful expectation for improvement. The sentiment increase compared to May suggests that economic conditions, or at least perceptions of them, are not deteriorating further. This nuanced optimism could translate into cautious spending or investment, gradually fueling economic activity. Understanding this delicate balance is crucial for predicting future market behavior and consumer trends. The UMich survey provides vital granular insight. Shifting gears to international affairs, U.S. foreign policy remains in the spotlight. The Pentagon has confirmed significant military action. This development underscores ongoing tensions in crucial global regions. Military airstrikes against Iranian targets have been carried out, a clear signal of U.S. resolve. The confirmation from the Pentagon provides official details on these actions. Such operations have immediate and long-term implications for regional stability and international relations. The world watches closely as these events unfold, highlighting the dynamic nature of global security. We delve deeper into the specifics of these airstrikes. The Pentagon confirmed military airstrikes against Iranian targets. This represents a direct response to recent aggressions. The specific targets and full scope of these operations are typically classified, but the confirmation indicates a deliberate action. Iranian targets could refer to infrastructure, military assets, or personnel linked to recent attacks. This is a significant escalation in the ongoing regional proxy conflicts and geopolitical maneuvering. The confirmation provides the official U.S. position on these actions, reinforcing a stance of deterrence. Regional actors are now assessing the fallout and potential next steps. The situation remains fluid. These military airstrikes by the U.S. against Iranian targets followed a specific incident. The Pentagon's confirmation explicitly links the strikes to a preceding drone attack. This sequence of events establishes a clear cause and effect in U.S. foreign policy. The drone attack on a commer acted as the catalyst for this military response. The nature of this commer has not been further detailed in the provided facts, but its targeting was significant enough to prompt a retaliatory strike. This highlights the sensitivity and fragility of security in the region. Retaliation signals a commitment to defending interests. The Pentagon's confirmation frames these airstrikes as a direct response to aggression. The drone attack on a commer triggered this military action. This indicates a policy of rapid retaliation when U.S. interests or allies are perceived to be threatened. The use of military force underscores the gravity of the initial drone incident. Such responses aim to deter future attacks and maintain regional stability, often a delicate balance. The U.S. continues to monitor the situation closely, evaluating any potential counter-responses. This is a clear signal of U.S. resolve in a volatile geopolitical landscape. The situation demands vigilance. These military airstrikes against Iranian targets send ripples across the geopolitical landscape. The confirmation from the Pentagon immediately impacts regional dynamics. Allies and adversaries alike are now recalibrating their positions. Such actions can lead to increased tensions, potentially drawing in other regional powers. The Middle East remains a critical area for global energy supplies and security. Any escalation there has far-reaching consequences, affecting international trade routes and stability. The U.S. maintains a significant military presence in the region, aimed at safeguarding these vital interests. Global implications are undeniable. These seemingly disparate events, rising consumer confidence and military airstrikes, are interconnected. Global security developments can directly impact domestic economic sentiment. Geopolitical tensions, especially in oil-producing regions, can influence energy prices. Higher energy costs, in turn, contribute to inflation, which Americans are already concerned about. Thus, while consumers show modest optimism, stability overseas is crucial for sustained economic health. The interplay between foreign policy and the domestic economy is undeniable. These connections underscore the complexity of governance and global interdependence. Economic stability requires peace. The slightly more optimistic outlook suggests consumers anticipate some relief from economic pressures. This sentiment is fragile, however. Any significant escalation in foreign policy crises could quickly erode this nascent confidence. The University of Michigan survey captures this delicate balance. If global events contribute to further inflation or economic uncertainty, consumer sentiment could swiftly reverse. This highlights the vulnerability of domestic economic gains to international instability. Policymakers must consider this interconnectedness when formulating both economic and foreign policy strategies. Sustained optimism requires a stable global environment. Vigilance remains key. The Pentagon's swift confirmation of military airstrikes demonstrates a clear and decisive U.S. foreign policy stance. This proactive approach aims to protect U.S. interests and deter hostile actions. The decision to strike Iranian targets after a drone attack on a commer underscores a commitment to holding actors accountable. This strategy often involves calculated risks to prevent larger conflicts. The confirmation itself is a form of communication, signaling intentions to both allies and adversaries. The U.S. military's readiness to act maintains its credibility on the global stage. This message is unequivocal. The shadow of inflation looms large over the modest economic gains. While sentiment improved, the persistent concern about the rising cost of living cannot be ignored. This indicates that while consumers may feel slightly better about the future, their present financial reality remains challenging. The University of Michigan survey effectively captures this dichotomy. Inflation erodes purchasing power, affecting everyday households directly. Until these cost pressures ease significantly, a full recovery in consumer confidence will remain elusive. This is the central economic challenge facing millions of Americans daily. The fight against inflation continues. Looking forward, the trajectory of consumer confidence will depend on several factors. Continued moderation of inflation and stable employment figures could bolster optimism further. However, unexpected economic shocks or sustained high prices could reverse the modest gains. The University of Michigan survey offers a snapshot, but trends are dynamic. Policymakers are keenly watching these indicators to gauge the effectiveness of current economic strategies. The goal is to translate slight optimism into robust confidence and tangible improvements in household financial well-being. The path ahead remains cautious but hopeful. Data will continue to guide decisions. On the foreign policy front, the aftermath of the Pentagon's confirmed airstrikes against Iranian targets will define the immediate future. The potential for further escalation or retaliatory actions remains a key concern. Diplomacy, alongside military deterrence, will be critical in managing regional tensions. The U.S. government will continue to assess the security landscape, adapting its strategy as events unfold. Maintaining regional stability while protecting national interests is a complex challenge. The international community will closely monitor developments for signs of de-escalation or increased conflict. Vigilance is paramount in this volatile region. To conclude our morning brief, the U.S. navigates a period of cautious domestic optimism alongside assertive foreign policy. Consumer confidence shows a modest uptick, a hopeful sign for the economy despite inflation concerns. Simultaneously, the Pentagon's confirmed military airstrikes against Iranian targets underscore ongoing global security challenges. These two pillars, economic well-being and international security, are deeply intertwined. The decisions made on one front inevitably influence the other. Stay tuned for further updates as these critical situations continue to evolve, shaping the nation's path forward. That's your morning brief.